Hey everyone, welcome back to I Dream of Homestead. I'm Josephina, and today we are outside taking care of all of the things that didn't go right. Today, I am going to do my other planter. So in the first one, you guys can't see it, but it's next to this one, I did black beans. And so for this one, I'm gonna do more pinto beans. Okay, so in this planter is where I used to have the romaine lettuce. And unfortunately, because I did start those out so late, I did not get to harvest anything off of them. They were growing, but I wasn't doing a very good job with fertilizing these planters, and that's something that I've learned with these, is that you need to fertilize these regularly. I had only done it once, and you need to do it at least a minimum of once a month. And so the one time I gave it to them, it boosted all the plants, but then after that, it really didn't do anything, and they just weren't growing. And now we have entered the hot and humid season, as hot as the devil's butt crack out here at all times. Literally hot, humid, gross. And so these are a cool crop, and they are not going to do well if I just leave them here. They're just kind of taking up space that I could be using for something else. So, lesson learned, I will start my lettuce sooner. And I will also make sure that if I'm putting them in these planters, that I am fertilizing them regularly so that they can grow and give me something I can harvest from. And I told you guys back then, if it didn't work out, beans were gonna be what I was gonna stick in here. And so here we are with the beans. All right, so I've put in some worm castings in here. And now I'm just going through, and with my hand, I'm just kind of mixing it into the top couple inches of soil. I don't really need to mix it all the way in. I just need it enough to where when I water it, it's distributed enough and will then put all the nutrients the soil is lacking from the lettuce taking it and give it to the beans. So now that all of the worm castings are mixed in, I'm going to show you guys. These are literally just store-bought beans. You can use them to grow your own food. With the ones that I put in the raised bed, I did wrap those up in a paper towel, and I had them in there for a few days to sprout, just because I wanted to make sure they were actually going to work, and they did. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick these in and hope for the best. But I am removing all of the ones that are half and just putting in the whole bean. So if any of these look a little bit funky, I'm not going to put them in. I've got these old markers. They don't actually have names on them, but this will just kind of help me remember where I started planting first so that I don't accidentally replant in there. Okay guys, so I'm sitting on the porch now, and I wanted to share some things, but before I do, in the clip where you guys see me putting down all my seeds is this really exciting moment that I had, and I wish that I could have used the sound to explain everything to you guys in the video, but I had to cut it out for several reasons. But as I'm going through all of the seed packets and getting them together of the ones that I'm going to need to go out and replant, and feeling all the sadness that I'm having to do this all over again, wishing all of this stuff would have sprouted, because then that means that I would have the flowers and the herbs and all the things getting ready to come out. I instantly am stopped in my tracks because I found a surprise packet of hatch pepper seeds. And I don't know if you guys saw my garden tour video, but if you didn't, I'm gonna link it down below. And in the video, I explained that my hatch peppers had gotten knocked over, and because they sat out of their cups and their roots were exposed and it was a super duper hot day, they got fried. And so an entire day of being left out on the ground like that just kind of killed them. And so I planted them anyways in the hopes that something was gonna come out of it, and it seemed like something was going on, but then they didn't. So I lost those hatch peppers. I brought myself to a place of being okay with that and decided that what I was just gonna do is I was gonna pull some suckers from my tomato plants, get those to root, and then I would stick them in the places where those peppers were supposed to have been. So I had accepted defeat. I'm looking through my seeds, trying to figure out what I've got to put out and feeling so sad about it. And then a hatch pepper packet appears. Guys, I don't remember ordering more than one hatch pepper packet, and I'm gonna have to go and look, but I'm feeling really confident that I had only ordered one. So finding that extra one all of a sudden, like, it was, honestly, it felt like God was giving me a hug in that moment, because I had been having such a sad week. Just still grieving and just going through other things mentally with my depression. I've been transparent with you guys about that. So it was just a really hard mental week in terms of sadness. And so finding that legitimately felt like God was giving me a hug. Like he was saying, it's okay, I got you, girl. It's gonna be fine. And so I was so excited because I am gonna get to have my hatch pepper plants. Maybe I'm not gonna have them as soon as I'm gonna have all of my other peppers, and I'm not gonna get to harvest them with everything else, and they're gonna be several months behind, but I still get to have them. I look at my growing season and I have so much time left for my growing season. I have up until about the first week of November, so there's plenty of time for these pepper plants to come in. That also means that I won't have all of my peppers being harvested at the exact same time, overwhelming me, because it can get really overwhelming when all of your harvest is coming in at the exact same time and you're trying to figure out what to do with all of the separate ingredients, how to preserve them so that you can keep them longer. Now I know that I'm going to get to harvest off the first ones, and then weeks later I'll be harvesting off of the new plants, and that'll just lighten my load for me. Growing your own food, while it is beautiful and it's just this amazing peace that you get when you're out there working, it is still work. And so you have to be intentional and put the time in to make sure that you're going outside and checking on the plants, to make sure that you're watering them consistently and that you're checking for what bugs might be eating if you're growing organically like I am, because the bugs are going to come. They will find your plants and they will eat the things. And so I choose to do things organically, which means that I have to deal with bugs a whole lot more often. That is the sacrifice I'm willing to make, because then I know that I can literally just eat things out of the garden, that I'm not killing all of the pests that are beneficial for the garden, like the bees and the butterflies and the ladybugs. I want them to stay around, and if I go and I put pesticides on everything, then I lose all of the good guys plus the ones that are not helpful, and then I'm worried about what I'm putting into my kids' bodies and my own. And so it gives me peace of mind to know that my food is coming in organically. So again, that does mean that it comes with a little bit more work, and it is worth it. I don't like the heat. I don't like the stickiness of the humidity. I don't like sweating. And ever since I had kids, you guys, I sweat like crazy. Before kids, I was a glistener, where I would just get like a little bit of dew on my skin here and there. And now I freaking get soaked and wet in my sweat, and I hate it. So getting outside sometimes just feels like a hassle. I'm like, I don't want to do this. And why am I growing this food? This is just like, what? But if you do like 10 minutes in the morning and in the evening every other day, or just break it apart in a way that fits your schedule best, those 10 minutes can do so much for your garden. So much, guys, because in those 10 minutes, you'll pull the weeds and you'll find the bugs that are affecting your plants, and you'll get to get rid of them. And being out there, once I'm there, is just, it's a game changer. All of a sudden I go from, I didn't want to do this and I'm in my room like trying to get myself together and get my emotions in check, to feeling this peace and this joy and like, you know what? Today's not so bad. I can do this. And so that's what I'm doing. So for anyone who struggles with that kind of stuff, of feeling like you just don't have it in you to get up and do the things, the biggest medicine for that is honestly just getting up and taking the first step. So I just wanted to be a little bit transparent about that and just remind myself that it's okay to be a little bit messy. It's okay to not have the perfect looking garden and your grass growing like crazy and things getting out of control. It's okay for the world to see that, because there are a whole lot of people who are exactly the same way, and you guys need to know that you are not alone in this. So thank you guys for spending a little bit of time with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, I hope that you're willing to stick around and hit that subscribe button on my journey to becoming a homesteader. I'll see you in the next one.